So, if you've ever told yourself, I need to write a book, you're not alone. But maybe you feel scattered or unsure where to start or in some way blocked. Again, not alone. For years, I used to beat myself up thinking, I need more discipline to get this done. Because I first thought of writing a book like in a single digit year. I mean, I was like 5. But I didn't publish my first book until I was 40. So there's a bit of a gap there. And I used to beat myself up all the time. You need discipline, you need discipline. But you know what? That's not what I needed. Well, maybe I needed that too. But the main thing I needed was a shift in perspective in how I saw myself and the process. So if this is you, listen to this episode where I'm going to be sharing 5 mindset perspectives shifts that helped me get off the "I'm gonna write a book" bus and get on to the "I'm a published author" bus. Hi, my name is Carma Spence, and I help executive coaches, business leaders, and consultants write, publish, and market client attracting books while having fun and being strategic and using ethical AI. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so that this podcast and others can get to more people, helping more people get onto the "I'm a published author" bus. So let's start with the first one. Decide what success means to you. Clarity of motivation is a game changer. When you've decided this is what success means to me and you have metrics to measure that by, it helps pull you toward that success. So rather than chasing some vague idea of being a writer, being an author, what does success mean to you in that area? I have published this book by this date or not. Not everyone works with an actual established date, but make it more concrete. Say, this is the goal, this is the signpost I'm going for. Decide what that is for you. For me, it was I'm going to publish this cookbook. I had been creating cookbooks for my family, just sort of stuff I ran off a Xerox machine. And I decided this one's good enough. I want it to be out in the world. And that's how Bunkers for Bunk Cakes came into being. And this was back in the days when Lulu charged you $100 for the ISBN. And that was pretty much how you got your ISBN. Within a year, they weren't doing that model anymore. But I made back that $95. I had no following. I didn't know what I was doing in marketing, so I really wasn't marketing. Turns out I really lucked out. Bunt cakes is a hot keyword, so that's what made my money back. And ever since then, I've been upping the ante with every book, changing what is the goals. That first book, it was I'm a published author. That was the main goal. That was what success meant to me. Every other book, different metric. Number 2, create a ritual, not a habit. Now, I'm not saying go all woo and have an altar and all those things. This is not a religious practice. A ritual in this context is sort of a stylized habit that switches your mindset from one mode to another. So, like maybe right now you're in mom mode, and now you need to sit at your desk and become author. Well, there's a little series of tiny things that you do that says, I am now moving from mom into author, and now I'm ready to work on my book. Same thing goes if you have a day job. During the day, you're employee of XYZ company. By night, you're an author. How do you make that switch? You have a series of like 3 to 5 things that you do. And for everyone, they're different. One person may be lighting a candle. Another person may be sharpening their pencil. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the things are. It's just a series of like 3 to 5 things that you do that starts telling your mind, I'm switching modes now. I did an entire episode of the author switch about that, and I will put a link to that in the show notes. But if you're watching this somewhere else and you would like that, just put ritual in the comments and I will send you a link to that episode. Number 3, and this one's a big one. Affirm your identity as an author. You do not need to be published in order to claim that for you internally and sometimes even externally. I know I started calling myself an author once I started working on that first book. However, it's been a while, so I may have started calling myself an author before that, just because I had the idea, I'm going to write a book, therefore I'm an author. Sometimes claiming that title helps bring that title forth. Now, it may work faster for some people, it's slower for others, but it really does shift you. If all you're thinking about is, I'm an entrepreneur and maybe I'll write a book someday, you're not pulling that forth. You're not calling that into your life. Start calling yourself, I'm an entrepreneur and an author. Number 4, reframe your resistance as a sign of importance. Often, when something is deeply important to us, like deeply in the subconscious, it hasn't even percolated up into the consciousness. When something's really important at that level and hasn't percolated up, we often feel resistance because something that important shifts our identity. And the way our brain works is it wants to keep the status quo. So as you are percolating this idea that's going to pull you into a new status quo, your old status quo is going, oh, hold the fort. We're happy here. And so you develop this sort of resistance. And a lot of times it's completely unconscious. Now, I actually created a GPT just yesterday, that kind of helps you if you've been a user of ChatGPT for a while, because one of the functions is it goes through all your chats and identifies potential underlying resistance. If you'd like that, put resistance in the comments and I will send that to you. I'll also put a link to it in the show notes. But basically, it's sort of a truth finder. I tested it last night and now some of it was a little off because my whole world is not in ChatGPT. But I said, hey, here are the where I think you're wrong. And it went, you're right. Thank you. Of course, I didn't just say you're wrong here. I said you're wrong because of this. And then it reframed what it knew because those things that weren't in chat, they were in here or they were in the outer world. But it was very powerful, very powerful. Highly recommend giving it a try. Again, resistance in the comments. And of course, I will put it in the show notes as well. And number 5, this one's tough, but it makes such a difference. And that is letting go of perfection and just go with the flow. Number 1, your first draft will always be messy. It doesn't matter how hard you try, that first draft will always be messy. And the more you try to make it not messy, the more you stop yourself from getting the full manuscript out. So just let it out. Get the first draft out, massage later, edit later. I don't know how many times I've heard that advice and thought, oh, no. I can tinker as I go. All that did was prolong the publish date. That's all it did. It didn't make the book necessarily better because then you start tinkering it in a way where it completely messes up the structure and the flow and made it even harder to edit later. So just don't do it. Let go of perfection. Go with the flow. So there you go. 5 perspective shifts that have changed my life as an author, and I hope will help you change your life too. Again, those are define your own success, create a ritual rather than a habit, affirm your identity as an author, reframe resistance as a sign of importance, and let go of perfection. Just let the first draft flow. It's okay if it's messy. So, if you would like more mindset information about being an author, check out this video that's just popped up over here somewhere or will pop up. And I will see you on Wednesday. This is Karma saying ciao for now.